Hello everybody, Proton here. Welcome to another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. This is going to be a very comprehensive guide regarding everything that you need to know regarding hidden potential system, whether that is to building or to actually get some knowledge as to how the hidden potential system works. So I kind of wanted to do this video since it's been a constant, dare I say, plague in the friends list and things like that, where people are able to just like build their units in a fashion that technically it's not, for me, an enjoyable time whenever I have to use some of the friend units and they're just not built accordingly. So in this particular segment, I am going to make this a Dokkan for Dummies video. So welcome to season 2. If you haven't checked out season 1, make sure you go back. This is one of the many series that I would like to do in regards to just teaching people, if in any case new or people who are still in the know but they're not too sure as to how they can do it or how they can build their characters, things like that, into the strategy of how to build the units. So here we have basically all of the skills. This is basically the fandom page of the Dokkan Wiki, where you can be able to know a little bit more of the hidden potential systems, but I will give you my fair advice as to how you can be able to go through building some of your units in a fashion that you can be able to get the most out of them, right? So let's begin. So we have these little characteristics, these little traits. For example, we got this little recovery boost and super. So these are the main 4 that are like consistently attached to your character whenever you build a unit or pull dupes of the unit. You will be able to see that the character will get filled in either the defense section or the attack boost section. I can be able to show you this a little bit better. So let me show you guys my game. I'm gonna start booting it up so you guys can be able to see it, but we're gonna talk about how consistent it is for you to like be able to see this through in regards to their type attack boost, their type defense boost, the super attack boost, and the whole recovery boost. So let's take, for example, this character right here, Ultra Instinct Goku. So if we go over to the growth tab and we click on the hidden potential system or the hidden potential button there, we go over to the left side here, you're going to see this little type defense section here. It says that there are 7 kinds of hidden potential skills. Those are the ones that we're going to check out. The higher the sum of the levels activated, the higher the chances of the skills being activated, and the greater the effect of the skills. We can be able to check information regarding those in a bit. So you guys can see this little portion right here is this little segment over here. It says type defense boost. This says that the damage received when blocking against the type you have an advantage against. Let's say, for example, UI Goku, he is AGL. If you guys have seen the little wheel on the top left, no, top right, it basically just states who has type advantage over who and who has type disadvantage against who. So AGL will always have type advantage against SDR. So this is an indicative of letting you know that the damage that you receive when blocking against the type you have an advantage against will be slightly lowered. The higher the ability, the lower the amount of damage received, meaning that this could be a helpful option or a helpful tool if you look at the type defense level, because this means that you're going to be susceptible to taking less damage from a type advantage character. Let's say if you had type advantage over the SDR character, you're going to be taking a lot less damage than given out, right? And it's all due to the percentages right here. So it says that if max level is the 15th, as you guys can see here, I have him at max level 15th due to the fact that my UI Goku is at Rainbow Star, meaning that all of the hidden potential skills have been unlocked. And you can be able to get this plus 15%. So this is the case. So you have a 15% chance or a 50% increase of blocking damage receive if you're fighting an enemy that has type advantage against yours. So let's say, for example, you get hit by Goku and Frieza with this character, or maybe somebody a lot less strong. Let's say Kid Buu at the beginning of the Buu zone, the Buu red zone stage. That character is going to hit this UI Goku for a lot less damage than somebody like a physical character, because again, AGL is over STR, but like a physical character, let's say any character with this typing, will be susceptible to taking a lot more damage over an STR character. So if an STR character will hit this guy for a super attack, he will be taking a lot more damage than what UI Goku would have taken, right? So that is the type defense boost portion of the abilities. I will also talk about the super attack boost. This basically states here, right? You go over here, this is the max level that it has. This says slightly raises the super attack power. Any additional effects of the super attack will not change. The higher the skill level, the more the additional power. So if we look over into this little chart here, it says the super attack boost. Increasing this ability will slightly increase the output of your super attack. Note that the unit will keep the same super attack level, and any additional super attack effects will not change, but the SA multiplier will increase its percentage. So for example, right here it says that 75%, because it's basically 5% per level, and it's 15%, so that's 75%. If we take a look at, let's say, a character's description, let's look for UI Goku. So let's I do have some characters in here that I'm going to talk about later on, but let's go look for UI Goku in here. So if we check out Ultra Instinct Goku in this area right here, you guys will see that there is this segment where it says like at level 20 the super attack will have like 30% plus, meaning that the super attack power will be increased a little bit more, and then you can be able to see the damage multiplier the character is able to do. So this matched up with this super attack boost means that you're going to be dealing a lot of damage because of the attack power that it gives, right? So every single character that you have maxed out, let's say Rainbow Star and things like that, you will have them at max level like 15. It all depends, because you can also go the other way, because if you don't go defensive, you can go offensive and go into this portion right here, which is the type attack boost. If you can check over here on this section, this signifies that you're going to deal the damage that you deal against types you have an advantage over will slightly increase. So the higher the ability, the more damage dealt, meaning that you're going to be doing a lot more damage up against enemies that you have type advantage against. So you see the description there says slightly raises attack when an AGL attacks an STR, STR attacks physical attacks int, etc, etc. It works for super and extreme types, and the effect increases along with the skill level. And as you can see right here, the max is going to be 75%, meaning that it has a 75% chance or a 75% increase for you to deal more damage against an enemy that you have type advantage against, right? Or type advantage over. So the more this is up, the more it means that the more chances are that you're going to do a lot more damage to somebody who has type disadvantage against. So UI Goku super attacks Kid Buu, he will do a lot more damage. I'm saying this because UI Goku's AGL, and let's say he's attacking somebody who's STR, he will do a lot more damage. So that's what I mean when it comes to like the type attack boost. The recovery boost, I don't know if it's too much of an importance, but recovery boost is that whenever you're on the field and you are collecting the same type key spheres as the character, for example, AGL UI Goku, you're going to collect AGL key spheres. If you collect those, it means that you're going to be receiving some additional HP boosts, right? So for example, there's an equation that calculates it, right? So 0.030, this is the like 3%, plus the 0.0015%, or like the 15% that you get from the max level boost, multiplied by the level of the recovery boost, which in this case scenario that's 10, multiplied by the defense stat of the unit in battle, multiplied by the number of key spheres obtained of the unit's type. That means that with this equation right here, I actually have not been able to see this and calculate it in the game, but that's how much HP are you able to recover depending on the length level, depending on the level that this is. So the more this level is on your character's kit, for example, mine is 10. If it was 15, you will have to calculate these things. And I believe you can be able to recover a lot more HP than what I have, because if it's just level 10. So if you're looking at it in a way that you're it's all depending on your playstyle. It's a guide to primordially pinpoint what kind of playstyle you will have in the game. For example, I have the notion of being a lot more defensive, prioritizing more defenses than prioritizing offense. And it's a trait that it all depends on, again, the player's playstyle. If they want to see more damage output, they can be able to have this type attack boost a lot maxed out than the type defense boost. The super attack boost maybe a little bit more maxed out than the HP recovery boost, etc, etc. So for me, let's say for example I gave this UI Goku level 15 dodge, when in reality a lot of people might be building this guy with a lot of additionals, a lot of critical hits, and this is due to the fact that since UI Goku has already chances of dodging on his passive, they want to complement the damage aspect of the unit. But since fights have gotten a lot more difficult in the game, I would prioritize defense over offense so I can have a fighting chance of winning the fight that I'm going up against, right? So recently we had I uploaded a video about the Dragon Ball Heroes team taking on the Goku and Frieza fight, which as of now it is the toughest fight in the game. Right now I'm doing this prior of getting to the 10th anniversary of Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, and we don't know yet what type of difficulty are going to be the enemies coming forward. So once we get that, you will be able to notice that there will possibly be a switch, whether, oh, I feel like offense has to be a priority over defense in certain events, and vice versa. For example, let's take the Goku and Frieza fight. Goku and Frieza, on the final portion of the fight, they demand basically that you do at least 15 million damage across the board. I believe critical hits are important to achieve that, otherwise you will not be able to damage Goku and Frieza. So in certain segments of the game, like certain characters would be built more offensive so that you can be able to do more damage onto Goku and Frieza. So that way that damage threshold can be obtained by just building the unit that you want to build with a full offensive kit. However, since the chances of survivability are slim due to the fact that these enemies are starting to do at least 2.5 million damage and above, depending on certain conditions, I constantly keep on thinking I would rather be just a lot more defensive. So speaking now on those types of aspects, let's go over to some of the other types of abilities that you have available to your arsenal. So you have evasion skills, at least my favorite type of skill. As you guys can see here, there's a bit of a percentage game that we have here to see how it works. It's interesting because I've always thought that because of these things having an extra percentage of, depending on the level how it works, I always thought that, oh, well, it's always going to work the same for all three. But no, it wasn't up until maybe the fourth or fifth anniversary that I discovered that there's only 1% per level of the trait of evasion skills that procs while it's being activated, rather than the critical hits and the combo attacks. Here you can be able to see that it's just 2% per level. So this means that per level that you have on evasion skill, it's only 1% per level, meaning that Goku, depending only on the hidden potential ability here, or this hidden potential skill, he has 15% chance to dodge. Only 15%. So it's incredible to know that this is a little bit more nerfed than some of the other traits. And I would say that looking at it objectively, I believe that evasion skills are a lot more stronger, therefore they're a little bit lesser in level. I mean, we can talk about it, right? So critical hits and combo attacks have an additional percentage of working depending on the levels that you have. So you have 2% per level of a chance of doing an additional attack that has a chance of becoming a super attack. Same with a critical hit. The higher the level, the higher the abilities can be able to trigger for you to be able to deal critical hits. Now, these things are able to do a lot more damage to the enemy, whilst the evasion skills have the ability to save you from any ever-present danger. Let's say you have a super attack incoming, you know that you might die if you take the hit, and because of prioritizing the offensive traits of a character, you are going to be susceptible to taking the super attack, hence you're going to die. However, if you build off the evasion skills and provide a lot more to the evasion skills rather than the offensive skills, like the critical hits and the combo attacks, you have a more better chance of survivability. Now, this does not remove the fact that there is an opening of, like, there is always that percentage or that room of error, right? Because there are certain events in the game that don't allow you to use the evasion skill traits. And it was up until recently, in the midst of July 2024, that we had a unit release in the game that can nullify said ability. Basically nullifying any nullification traits or like any evasion skills, or it nullifies the effects that the enemy is always guaranteed to hit you. And this is this character right here. So by utilizing this domain here, it says allies can nullify attacks that are guaranteed to hit, making it possible to evade these attacks. Again, the fight that I'm going to be revisiting, the Goku and Frieza fight, there's a phase where you're fighting 17 and Golden Frieza that do not allow you to dodge, meaning that their attacks are always guaranteed to hit. But if you're able to utilize this domain ability, this domain, you can be able to nullify that effect that makes it impossible for you to evade these attacks, making it actually doable for you to evade these attacks. So this is the only character in its kind that you can be able to utilize this and state to like an enemy, oh, I am going to dodge no matter what traits you have that won't allow me to dodge. So that is what this character is able to do. And yeah, those are handicaps that make the game a lot more difficult, meaning that if you are not able to pull the character in general, you're gonna have a harder time beating the fight. It's not like it's impossible to beat the fight, but you're gonna struggle a lot with some of the characters that you have that depend on having evasion skills in order for them to raise the survivability of the team, or them can be able to get extra additional stats if they are able to use their evasion skills, right? And again, I got a list of characters up here that we will be able to check that tells the story, right? So coming back into the evasion trait, it only has 1% per level, meaning that characters that are in the int category, or like the int typing, for example, let's say these guys, right? Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. I went a little bit more on the evasion skill side of things because I want these characters to have that potential to evade enemies' attacks wherever possible, right? And due to them being at level 20 means that you multiply that by 1, they have a 20% chance to dodge. However, you can be able to go crazy on some of these other characters and be able to build them in a way that you can maximize even more of their evasion skill traits. For example, I think this character in particular, this EOS or AOS, you can be able to go beyond the spectrum of just being stuck at level 20 and just go even higher to level 29, and she can have a 29% chance of dodging. Now this helps if you have some of these skill orbs, which can enhance a character's evasion skills by certain levels. For example, I have a level 4 evasion skill orb, basically, that gives an additional 4 levels to the main level that she has already, so that's 24. There's an additional level 4 evasion skill here, so that is going to impulse her levels of evading, so that's 28. And then this one right here, which provides an additional level of evasion skill, so 29, right? So you can be able to do this. I think one of the characters that I have is a U. Yeah, Chila. So I popped her up all the way to level 32 because again, this is not a character that is going to consistently do damage for you, and this is not a character that's going to benefit from getting additional attacks. This is a character that will benefit a lot more to be like a safety net or like a support character. Think of it as like a support cast in the team. You have your main protagonists be able to do the work, and then you have your supporting cast right here, which, again, if you read what she is capable of doing, which she is getting a lot more dodges, she is able to recover some HP every time the character is able to evade some attacks, and she is able to foresee enemies' super attacks, meaning that she is helping out the team. She's helping out the team in a way that is not going to be offensive, rather more defensive wise, because again, the more chances, the more evasion skills she has, the more it's possible to you to be able to get this trait where she can be able to recover HP at a certain point. And of course, she is also supporting the team by providing that extra support there, right? So now let's go over to here again, this little chart. So for characters that are, if you want to impulse the critical hit and the combo attack, they have the extra 2% for the levels, and certain characters can be able to get a lot more out of them, like AGL and physical can be able to get a bit of an extra percentage. Meanwhile, some of these other characters are not able to get that high due to the fact that, let's say, AGL and physical, if you give them like let's say get them at 55%, you have the level 5 additional for free if you get them at 55%. So if you pull one copy, you have the potential skill of the combo attack for free on characters that are AGL and physical. On characters that are tech and SDR, they benefit a lot more of the critical hit chances because they are able to get the level 5 critical hit ability at 55%. You get the level 5 for free on those characters. So you still have the capabilities of getting that. Plus, you can be able to impulse their levels a lot more. Just like I mentioned with Chilai, any particular character like physical, which I actually don't know on my characters which ones I've prioritized a lot more additionals than anything else. So it all depends. Because again, I build my characters a lot more defensively. But let's take, for example, a character that has ECA recently. Yeah, like I prioritize some evasion skills rather than just the additional attacks or the critical hits for a character. It's all depending on the playstyle, right? So now there are some errors that I've seen that the community has made that, quite frankly, I feel like they're wasting the potential of their characters and what they can do. So let's take, for example, this character that you guys saw here. This darkness purging universe 3 power universe 3 power twice, right? Super Saiyan Blue Goku. So this Super Saiyan Blue Goku, keep in mind that he does not have any details on his passive right here that state that he has critical hit chances on his passive. But you are able to see that a character is able to toss out additional attacks. So recently, well, not recently, it's been a while since they've done this, but Dokkan has made it so that characters can be able to get hidden potential traits, like doing additional attacks that can have an opportunity to become a super attack, depending on the percentage or the chances, right? Or they can be able to have a chance of performing a critical hit in certain instances, or performing a chances of evading enemies' attack, including super attack. So meaning that they have implemented ways for the character to obtain hidden potential traits on their passive skills without having to continuously summon and try to obtain the same character multiple times to continue enhancing their potential skill. So let's say, for example, at 55%, you still have this character who has the opportunity to do an additional chance or an additional attack that has some chances to become a super attack, right? And that goes for many characters in the game. Same with critical hits and same with evasion skills. So you can be able to just take note of this character's abilities, and you would think, oh, well, this character can be able to do some additionals. This character can be able to have some guard. But it's either you think you can do it two ways. Either you can enforce the ability traits and complement a lot more or provide a lot more to what this character is already doing, so he can continuously do the things that he does and not providing or not benefiting of giving the character the additional traits that he is missing, or going the widespread motion, which means just giving the character the opportunity to do everything. So for example, on my end, this character in particular has a super attack effect, which a lot of people might not be able to see. And it's this one, where the character he can be able to raise attack and defense for the turn, causes immense damage to the enemy, and has a medium chance of performing a critical hit for one turn. Now, a lot of people have not taken this effect to heart, or if they have, they are possibly just maximizing the output of how that ability can be increased or can be done. So let's take an example right here. This guy has a similar effect on their super attack. So let's take this away. He has a high chance of performing a critical hit for one turn. Now, if the character does a super attack twice, if this character is able to do this twice, so he gets the 50% chance to crit, and he does an additional super attack, this stacks, which means that this character will have a 100% chance to perform a critical hit on his super attack effect. Meaning that the character does not need any critical hits if you want to make sure that, oh, well, this character is already getting critical hits off of his super attack effect. I don't have to give him I don't have to give him a superb amount, like an insane amount of crit, because this character's already doing that for me. He's helping me out greatly with the critical hit chances. So it's either that, or you can help with the other trait, which is the evasion skill. This character already has a lot of evasion skills onto him, but it's either you want to complement that a lot more with giving him an additional or even more additional chances of this character to evading enemies' attack, or you want to complement all the things, or impulse everything else, impulse more of the things that he has, so he can do a lot more with what he has, instead of giving it to the things that he wishes he has, right? For example, if this character has chances of dodging, you would not give him any additional chances of dodging. You would just complement the rest of the things, like additional or the combo attacks or the critical hit chances. Complementing either one of those that is not already listed in the passive skill. So for example, let's go back into this character right here. Let's completely forget about this. Let's completely forget about this. Where again, he has a medium chance of performing a critical hit for 1 turn on his super attack. Let's forget about that. If the character doesn't have it listed on his passive, you will want to enforce him to do that by giving him critical hit chances on the hidden potential system. However, since this character's already getting that, meaning that if you get this super attack at least 3 times, you're able to almost guarantee crit with this character most if not all the time. So let's show you my build for this character. I decided to build him with the evasion skills a lot higher because this character doesn't have evasion skills on his passive. If you were to read it, everything that he does, if you were to read it, you would see, oh, well, this character does not have any evasion skills. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, so let's build this character in a way that he can be able to obtain any potential skills that he doesn't have, so that my character is balanced in a way that he is able to do everything. Because he's already doing additional attacks built in, and he's also performing critical hits depending on the number of super attacks that he does. So depending on the way that you build this character, you will be like, okay, so let's balance him out a little bit. I also gave him a little bit more of combo attacks so that he can do more super attacks often, so that way he's able to pile drive the crit chances, meaning that if he does 3 super attacks, this character is able to do critical hits guaranteed after the 3rd super attack, because again, this character already has a 30% chance, medium percent chances. I will talk about this in another video, but medium means 30%, high means 50%, great means 70%. There's also rare chances, which that would mean like 15%. But again, I will talk about those in a different video. But yeah, if you enforce more critical hits on this character, which let's say you're enforcing a lot more than what he already does, you're going to go on more on the offensive, meaning that either you're going to continuously enforce more of what he does, rather than just complementing any other potential skill traits that this character could need in order for this character to be a little bit more balanced. So let's take an example. If I go over to an event with the same team, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna find a friend that is going to have a very, like, not I wouldn't say sketchy build, is that the character or the friend will have a build that is more consistent to going on the offense rather than the defensive. So as you can see here, some of the people have been able to build their characters in a way that the character can be able to do everything. For example, this guy has level 22 dodge. Because of the character not being able to perform any evasion skills on his passive or anything else, it means that the character is not going to do the potential skill selected, right? So for example, if there's no evasion skills on his passive, you would want to complement that by providing evasion skills to the character, so that way the character can be able to do potential skills that he may not have built in onto his main kit. You get what I'm saying? So if the character is already able to do critical hit chances, you're not going to buff this potential skill. You're only going to keep it at a certain level that he has, which, for example, this character is STR. He already gets a level 5 critical hit chance, which in STR and any other typing rather than any other, that and the combo skill, sorry, will have already a 2% chance times the level. So this guy will have a 10% chance to crit. That added to the many super attacks that you're able to do with this, you're going to be guaranteed critting almost after the 3rd super attack. So that means that you're going to enhance a lot more of his capabilities. Maybe some of the other ones that he doesn't have. So that way the character can be a little bit more on the balance side of things. So let's see if I can, well, it seems that he's not here, like the character's not around, but some of the characters are built up a lot more offensively. So for example, he might not have this trait a lot more enhanced. He will have a lot more of the critical hit chances a bit more enhanced, or this a lot more enhanced, because this basically says that I would like to do a lot more additional attacks so that I can perform maybe critical hits guaranteed at a certain point, but also be able to dodge at a certain chance, right? Because there are some people that sometimes they don't build, they don't provide any evasion skills, meaning that you're completely wasting that potential skill to be able to save you in some fights, right? So that's my prerogative with this guy and how to build him accordingly, because I've seen a lot of people going more on the critical hit side of things for this character, when again he can already be able to do a critical hit chance while just by doing at least 2 or 3 super attacks. By doing that 3rd super attack, you're guaranteed critting. So meaning that you won't need the additional crit chances that you're providing him excessively, because he's going to crit guaranteed at a certain number of super attacks. So if you're capable of enhancing the additional trait, the combo attack trait, rather than the critical hit trait, you're gonna be more consistently in getting the crit chances by just providing him the additional attacks. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot better to give him additionals for this character so that he can do 1, then 2. Oh, he already has a 60% chance to crit. This, accompanied by this, you will possibly get the critical hit on this, unlike the 2nd super attack. And if you do another super attack, a 3rd super, that is just going to be a guaranteed crit, because again, just by having that trait of getting that medium chance of performing a critical hit for the turn, if he super attacks at least twice or 3 times, this stacks. That chance will stack, which means that you will have 1 super attack 30%, another super attack 60%, another super attack 90%, and you're going to guarantee crit most of the time. So wasting that potential and just giving him a lot more critical hits because you want to assure that the character is going to do a critical hit without reading the super attack trait that this will constantly stack depending on the number of super attacks that you do, you will guarantee crit most of the time by just providing a combo, just more levels on the combo attack rather than the critical hit. So that way you can be able to build your characters a lot more constructively. let's take another example here. This character, let me just go ahead and take my phone away, basically. So this character right here, recently released, and he's able to do many things on his kit. So let's say, for example, this character, if you put him on the third attacker, or that's the third attacker in the turn, he's able to provide really good support. But not only that, this guy is able to build up the evasion skill traits up to 30% if you put him on slot 3 or as the third attacker in the turn. How would this benefit him? So if you put him on as the third attacker in the turn, he's able to, on his intro, do an additional attack that has a 70% chance to become a super. Then he has another additional. So he has combo attack traits on his kit. So he will more often than not, do these attacks and have these attacks become maybe additional normals, or like additional normal attacks or additional super attacks. And if he's able to do a certain number of additional super attacks performed, he's able to build up this evasion skill, like this evasion trait. So for example, if he is able to do 3 super attacks, this character will have at least 30% chances to dodging. This plus this, which it's a 50% chance to dodge. This gives the character at least 80% chance to dodge. So meaning that he will almost guaranteed dodge all those attacks on the third slot as the third attacker in the turn, because again, if you put him in there, it'll maximize the chances of this character to be able to do multiple super attacks and build up on that chances of dodging. So this character, you can be able to build him a lot more offensively because he doesn't have any critical hit chances on his passive. So if you want to complement that, of which he doesn't already have, that is going to be beneficial on building your characters accordingly. So giving this character critical hit chances will help him do more damage because of all the additional attacks that he's going to keep on doing because of the kit of the character. That's the nature of this character, since he's able to do that. So it'll be beneficial to maybe give him critical hit chances to help him out, which is very good. So on certain characters, you can be able to give them the opportunity to have hidden potential traits which they don't have on their passive skill or on their kit built in already to help them out on the fight. Or you can be able to build them a lot more offensively so they can be able to constructively be helped on the fight, again building them off of the opportunity that they're missing, or just giving them chances to do things that they don't have built in other kit. So let's take this final example here. This Super Saiyan 2/3 Goku who recently ECA'd. This guy has already a 70% chance to crit. So this already says to you he has a 70% chance to crit, meaning that is more often than not that he will possibly get it on 1 or 2 super attacks, or like getting it right away. So if we go over to his transformed state, this character again will have for at least 6 turns a 70% chance to crit. And he's able to do additional attacks, each of which has a chance, but in this case scenario a high chance, to become a super attack. So he's already doing multiple attacks. He's already gonna get a high percentage of him doing a critical hit. So what would you give this character? You want to give him dodge, so it can help him out on the fight. Giving him additional traits that the character doesn't have really complements the character, so it could last longer on certain fights. Or if you want to complement already what he's already doing, I don't know why I said already twice, but if you want to complement what the character does already, you would want to just maybe power drive a little bit more of the additional traits so he can get these a lot more often. You will want to get the critical hit chances, because at a certain rate, at a certain turn threshold, this will go from 70% to 50% by just looking at the chances. But either way, you can be able to also rely on this, which the character can build off of, depending on how many super attacks he does. So meaning, oh, well, that means that I can build him up with a lot of additional so that this character can build up a lot quicker. So complementing what he already has, which means like this right here. He's already launching 2 additional attacks, each of which has a chance to become a super. So if you want to complement the additional traits for this character to help him out build off another portion of his passive, that is also going to help him out greatly. So that is my little guide for how to build your characters a little bit more consistently. Again, I've been seeing it through my runs over on my phone. Whenever like I'm doing any events in particular, let's say for example, again, the Goku and Frieza versus the Super Dragon Ball Heroes team, which this is not a very viable team, and it's going to cease to exist or cease to be given a lot of support due to the fact that it got canceled. So this is a very niche kind of team where you want to like show it off, I guess. But in reality, you can be able to just compare this type of team where you can have a lot of difficulty trying to take down very difficult fights without using any items, compared to this guy who's capable of doing superb amounts of things regarding like a lot of dodging capabilities, a lot of super attack capabilities, a lot of critical hit chances, things like that. It's comparable to some of these other premium characters that you can be able to survive a lot more rather than like building off of a mainstay of being fully offensive on a character. I would say it's too much being too offensive. I would say just depends on the type of build that you want to have your units. You would rather have them a lot more consistently doing everything, or just consistently doing the things that they already do, but with a lot more chances. And that is the flip of the coin, right? But yeah, again, it all depends on your playstyle. Since I am a lot more defensive, I would like to go more for the defensive side of things. Oh, I would like to have my characters with a lot of evasion skills and things like that. But on certain characters, such as this guy, it would not work because he is already getting a very high chance of being very defensive. So you will want to go on the offense on certain characters. For example, this guy, you would like to go a bit more offensive because this character benefits from being very offensive. Same as this character, it will benefit from you being a lot more offensive on the build for this character so that he can do more on the offensive side of things rather than being defensive. But there's also the balance portion of it where you can just maximize everything that you can at a certain level so everybody can do everything basically. But yeah, that is my build. Let me know, well, that is the video basically. Let me know if there's something that I missed. I feel like I rambled on about a certain topic and a certain subject for way too long, instead of just making the correct points here and there, or maybe just some points that I was missing out on. So yeah, do let me know down in the comments below about that. Let me also know down in the comments below if any way, shape, or form helped you in understanding how these traits or these skills work and be able to enforce them a lot better on your characters whenever you get to pull many additional copies of a certain character. Do keep in mind that there are also ways to like build a character in and of itself. There's these roadblocks which I did not explain, but that could also be a part of a different video regarding how to utilize the hidden potential system. This is basically how to build your units accordingly. So But yeah, do let me know down in the comments below if there's anything that I miss, if there's anything that can help you out, or if there's anything that you would like to see on the next episode of Dokkan for Dummies. I would like to bring these series back, especially now since the 10th anniversary is approaching and we have maybe many returning players that don't know how the hit the potential traits work, or would like to have a very in-depth tutorial as to how everything works out, right? So yeah, do let me know down in the comments below if this helped. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next one.